The Quranic theory of the universe is unrealistic, that the science has received the science that has been found in the past few years and especially in the last few decades, since the statement has described them 1,400 years ago. One of the basic principles of the universe is the basic principle that all the basic material of the universe was present in a unit, which was later divided into different parts while following the paragraph. It started the expansion of the universe that is continuously continuing. The Quran describes the fact that these factors in these words, and did not infidel the people who were in the form of a united universe and earth, all in the form of an unit. So we separated them. Two verses in this verse are deserving and fatty special attention. The meaning of rathin is to match and tie to create a sexual content. Ifatwin is contradictory ratak, which means the process of breaking, separating and separating. The Quran today described this fact that the creation of the universe of 14 years of the universe in the ignorant society of Arab, and the people had to express the idea that they think about this fact. After the centuries research, modernization of modern knowledge creatures, cosmology, and knowledge physics, astrophysics experts have been present on the general view of the universe that the presented theory of the universe, from the unit of the universal status of the universe. The Great Blast Theory, Big Bang Theory, is the same meaning of the meaningful interpretation. It is important that all the history of scientific society is to be a stable way of accessing the fact that in which a variety of humans are not automatically performing, but reflect a realistic that is created and dynamic with a second ever respectively. History science is found in humanity, many universities related to the universe, which describe the various initial situations of its start. They all guide all the ideas of unlimited density and the energy singularity of the zero-volume singularity, Edwin Hubble model, Edwin Hubble's mode Hubble singularity of model of the electronic blade swarm anti-modeling model of the explosion of the frequency density and the zero-Hololens model of the explosion of the Bigamment addition and the explosion of the new explosion of the Bifantable model. Before studying the theory of the Quran, we will understand the short mention of the long struggle of evolution of the evolution of the evolution of the evolution of the universe so that readers are easily understood as the truth of Islamic beliefs. In 1687, the famous British scientist Isaac Newton present the universal concept of the universe and said that the universe is static and unconscious. It was recognized in the form of a certified fact till the 20th century. In 1915, Albert Einstein presented general theory of relativity. In this theory, he explained the mutual comparison to the material, energy, attractive house, and time. He rejected the concept of Newton's universe universal, but he himself was unable to give any new ideology about the origin of the universe because Newton's ideas were being considered non-mutual worldwide. In 1929, Edwin Hubble first assured that the universe is not static and unconscious, but besides being animated, he is constantly expanding. His research gave birth to the Great Expansion, Big Bang Theory. The Great Explosion of the Great Explosion plated inherited Martin Ryle, and Olin R. Seinhong, Olin R. Sandage. In 1965, two American scientists Arnanisha, Ronter Wilson, and Robert Wilson, discovered the universal background round radiation during its usual experiences, which proved that the material of the universe was from an unit. He was united by the name of the short universal end, minute cosmic end, which was handling the energy inside itself. He suddenly broke and resulted in creating a variety of substances of the universe and later, differently clusters and galaxies. Four such basic powers that exist in their own ourselves of their various flames. They were also present in the same time. These powers are gravity, electromagnetism, powerful nuclear forces, weak nuclear forces, Weakened nuclear powers, weak nuclear forces, have been under the cabinet. We have passed the universe and the billions of 15 million billion years. What was the item before this early 15-year-old unit today, which was the universe created in a case of a university? Science is unable to answer this question. This statement is possible only by believing this decree of the Quran. When he decides to work, he only commands, or he gets the aura of the Quranic term recharge, a scarcity of the Rafik, that aware of the energy that the universe was tied to the universe in the case of early scartification unit. He was an incredible extent and warm place, which is called as unit. At present, both the universe density and space-time insulation, Levy, were unlimited and the universe was zero. This condition of unit and indicator of zero volume indicates the Quran, John, heavenly universe and earth, all were connected in the form of an unit. In these words, the bug is previously mentioned. Then the process of stroke and spread started, which the word mutarin mentioned in these words. So we separated them with the beginning of the probability of the back, bang, process, the second part of the second as of the by bang, spreading, unite spread in the hemorrhage part, became the primary fireball fireplace, and immediately after the blast, its temperature was reached between 1,080 billion am. However, after a glass of a great explosion, the temperature of the universe fell quickly and 10 times to 10 billion to 18 billion centimeters. It was almost 1,000 times more than the current temperature of the Sun's center. At present, the universe consists of most of the photon, electron, neutronus and its opposite particles, as well as proton and neutron. The image of this first face of the universe presented the first schedule of the George Gamow. In his famous writing in 1948, he said that after the Great Blast, Big Bang, the universe was so intense that every side nuclear heating interactions, thermonuclear radiations, can start. This means that the initial universe was more than the energy-efficient nature of the indicious wave. He has a valuable prediction that the radio radiation found in the initially related hot conditions of the universe should still be released with its relatively low temperature, which is just a few labels from absolute zero, 273 centimeter. The same radio discovered later in 1965 Arnonisia and Robert Wilson. It is going to fall as the temperature is expanding in the universe. Currently, the average temperature of the universe has reduced to 270 centimeters, which is just 3 status above absolute zero. Absolute zero, i.e. 273.16, is the temperature where every kind of maximized moving is frozen. George poor Lowaiter, pointed out in 1931 that if the gas spread out of all the galaxies, and it is considered to be considered in the hidden facts, it is said that all the people were found on the same point where the journey was started. The big drop of the material that is known as the initial atom, primeval atom, was definitely the universe egg, cosmic egg, found in the past. The latter presented this hypothesis that the big drop of the material was buried for some reason and flew out every one side of the bomb. This was the first creation of the universe. This idea of a latter was introduced in the case of great explosion. Here is a difference in the matter that how much of the zero rational equity was divided into the substance, how did the journey started traveling on the outer sides, and how did separation, insect, and explosion started. We will be able to go to these details. The fact is that today we are glanced and unplaced by this united material, which is mentioned in the Hakim of the Hullist. All were connected in the form of an unit, so we separated them. The statement of the initial explosion is proved to be the right to the rituals of the Big Bang Theory. The truth of the Quran is also going to be aware of the Holy Missal, the Quranic one further in the creation of the universe. Today scientists have a question that how the unique and extension of the universe became uniformly in universes. The answer is the question in the Quran. The following 2 verses are very meaningful on this topic. You ask, I asked for a refuge with the bridge with the extent of the universe, which is created by the evil of the things which they have created, and it is a special focus in this verse. The word creator is a complete mirror of its meaning and indicates clearly the process. In addition, this is also a matter of focus that the word fact is a deep and close relationship. Let's understand the meaning and importance of the word falcon in the first verse. Dr. Hafnoor Rest has described many of the words word of Arabic grammar. However, the primary meaning of this word is to suddenly expand. It is fantastic. According to another praise, the concept of the stone item is also found, and it is a concept that makes the manifestation, the fact that is a result of a severe blast, which also conceptual imagination of self-imagination. For example, meaningless means the rank of rank, the Quran says in the mention of the attitude of Allah, Turkin, and the Darwinal. After this short explanation of the bacalogram round, we consider the literal meaning of falcon. The meaning of falcon can be set up in a literally, a creature that appears with speedy range due to the explosion of non-explosion, the seed of the seed explosion, the daily process of which means the parable is to be spreading and light in the light, which says that he says, then it is said, and later. Many interpretations have preferred the common meaning in the interpretation of this verse. However, some of the prophets have also been the most commonly heard of Saddiq and Saudi scholarships. Some of the interpretation also describes the area of severe explosions in hell. The fact is that the word falcal gives the meaning of such a result, or objects that are suddenly and severely explosion. The second concept of the word is secondary states that are described in the parable. The real reason for the adoption of this style is that today, 14 years of knowledge, the knowledge of human consciousness, astrophysics, was not the oriented person of the human being to be able to take these scientific understanding. From the modern scientific investigation, the universe started with the big accident that was a great explosion. Here we will bestow the lighting of the great basting ideology of the Bang Bang theory. In the 1950s, the Filter Alfer, Ralph Alfer, Hans Bethe, and George Goetz, the first of the Great Blast, presented the scene for the first time, explosion of the Einstein of the union of the Eisenstein in the 199th. This theory was made the year's hot discussion center. Two key discoveries helped the proven bounce proven. The first, Adon Hubble, was discovered cosmic redshift, which was removed from the galaxy TAFO spectrum. However, the final and dual decisive discovery was 34 clockwise of the 3-year-old male bacalogram rounds in 1965. This radio is embedded in the entire universe in the case of the remaining impact of the early explosion, and its waves can be felt good with the help of radiation telescope. Another important discovery of physics that helped scientists reach the righteousness of great explosion is the discovering of free spacey destruction. It was generally considered that vacuum is a place where nothing is found, but after investigation, it has proved that there is no form of shared in space. The new appearance in the universe is the result of the physical physics of Heisenberg of the Heisenberg uncertainty principles. When passing throughout the influential of the great situation of such great events, when all its energy was removed from the electronics, he became scattered with unbelievers, and it applied to be at the place of space. If the following variables of 0-point fluctuations, they will be able to get rid of energy, which may be considered as a balanced energy in the universe's other places. Consequently, this resignation can also create some particle through the energy and can also be destroyed immediately. The first time, the Dutch expert Hendrik Casimir, the rendering of the particles in 1948 also released the 19,948, and the same year, 1938, a specialist physician Willis Lamb did. Recently, Professor of Physics Paul Davies has announced that in the existence of the new material, the God of God is the main evidence of the world of all Azan. These modern concepts increase the understanding of the great explanation of the great basery, Big Bangory, and the great panel of Allah. However, we see that the merchant was explosively the basic cause of the birth of the universe, and accordingly, the universe structure and the stars and the galaxies came into existence. According to the latest figure, the first step of this democracy explosion was completed in the arrows of 1 second, 1 billion python, when the glass of galaxies and stars were connected to each. Operation Judgy was divided into 1,000 sides of 1 second, 1,000. Now we study the verse of the knowledge of the physics and the knowledge of the information of the fact that the verse of the physics and the knowledge of the creation of the factories. You ask. I ask for a refuge with the bridge with the extent of the universe, which is a great deal of evolution, which is created by the meaning of the inevitable, and the presence of the present and the presence of the present, so that it is clear that their existence is to be an extensive explosion. The most important turning of these verses is that the word Lord of all has been used in the statement of the adjectives. Many of the scholars have said this in the verse of the verse, that this verse describes the context of Allah's best way of religion. 10 socks, 10,000,000,000,000 stars were born in a second blast in 10 seconds, 10 billion PSA, in a second bomb. All this is possible by the power of the Lord of the El Mubarak. Allah intended to form the material of the universe and created an explosion with the order of fake. The fact that is the result of the same explosion at the time of the power of Rabibitab, the village, was organized through a mental computers. The word Lord and the word in the verse is a reason to mention that all creatures were created by anxiety and explosion. However, before something that is necessary for a person to be able to get it, the right to the Lord's Al-Mubarak's religion is to get the virtue of the medical universe and biological computing system. This is the creator of the insight of the creator of universe that is all over the universe. O God, the Lord of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, get the shelter from the evil of every creature in the power of the creation of the power of the creation of the context of a bomb in the victory of the religion. I am the ruler of your Lord and the galaxies that I have scattered in an endless vessels of space with a great explosion. The explosion which started with an unit and many such powers, forces, razors and responses came into existence, which can be deadly for life. So get my refuge from these waves, because someone who takes me refuge protects from all kinds of evils. According to the great explosion of the great explosion, Stephen Hawking 1. Stephen Hawking, the great explosion was greatly for a few hours after the value of the field and the other elements, and then the universe has spread continuously without any significant accident. Then when the temperature of the universe fell down a few thousand levels, the electronics and the censorship could not be so much to protect the electrical magnetic attractive between themselves. 1. Stephen Hawking was the 300 years of the Galileo Galilei, 19,004, in 1942 in the United States as Oxygen City, Oxford. Born in 1972, he received the physics' early education, Oxford University, and then he went to Cambridge for higher education. At the age of Newgeny, he was suffering from the motor neuron. But despite the research and never allowed the door, it was the work of the hard work that he made a math professor in Cambridge University and was entitled to Newton's historical chair. Its time is considered as a great scientist. We are considered to be a new Einstein. He has not described in the well-known universe, but many ideas of the universe and the most likely possible prospects of the resurrection of many universities in his well-known book A Brief History of Tim, but as well as Time Bulb. Therefore, they have to form mutual and upgraded to the basic constructive atomic. It is believed that the overall universe is continuing to spread and cooling the process, but the area that is relatively more often the process of expanding is slowly caused by gravity. This will eventually spread the universe spread in some areas, after which the universe will start the return of the return. During the demolition of the inside of the dead circles, the gravity of the presence of the beginning will start them slowly. Rangers who are dirty goals will be small. it will be rapidly increasingly. Finally, when a circle will be very small, he will get so fast that the balance of gravity will not be found. The roller glaciers were also born in the same way, while galaxy in which the axial rotation was not shown that they were adopted by the reason why they are called galaxies, elliptic galaxies. The Quran and the ideology of theory of relativity, are the universities related to the universe in the Quran, which is the study of Creator's creativity from the study. Allah Almighty has worked with a special beauty in the creation of the universe, which we tried to understand the ability of different science and arts in the slave of our capabilities. Scientific study of Quranic provides the following principles of knowledge: creatures, astrophysics, about the advanced adjective of the understand. 1. Under the concept of rehabilitation and immigrants, the Quran tells that the substances and energy were the same thing. The substance is energy and the free form of energy material. Similarly, salmon, space and space is also impossible to separate from each other. Both are always found in constant connection. Allah Almighty separated all the righteousness from the power of power and pressure from the worship of the righteousness, and separated from the universe and the whole universe. This came to the scene in the early 20th century through the ideal image of the Quranic secrets, Sting. 2. Under the Walmad Bahani abated, Al-Kahana, 51:47. The Quranic concept that is created by the power of power from the power of the fact that the creation of the universe starting from the great Big Bang and its current situation from the system of an system and the majority of great gangsters, the survival of everything is based on the survival and energy and maintenance of energy. This is found in every place and every item of the universe in case of centimeters, center, centrifugal, and centrifugal forces. Apart from this, the center of center strength and center avoided force means to be equal to everywhere, which indicates the existence of system planets. The moderate of these two powers is the system of settlement and the system of all universities, and all the unbelievers can knock down the scholar as the opposition bar in electricity and each other in the capacity and all the items available in the universe, whether they are a rotation of surrounding sun and other stars or electronically running around the nucleus. The center of the Creator's erection is saving them from falling down and falling in the underlying center of gravity, as the balance of all the universe is the system of God, the Lord of the El Mubarak system, and the energy generated by the energy